Can you believe that Rafael Nadal won the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award? At first I lulled, but then I aroused. Congrats Tio Nadal, this should put a stop to the idiots saying his fellow players don't like Nadal.
What a complete joke. The biggest cheater on tour wins the Sportsmanship Award. I guess his wife Verdasco made sure all the Spaniards vote for him. Just a sad finish to a sad season of sea-heating and abusing the rules time after time. Pathetic. I can't hear you over the sound of Federer's greatness.
LOL. Now that made my day. If Nadal is so great, why is it that none of his fellow players have voted for him? Vamos.
Who cares if they vote for him or not? The guy abused the rules this year like no other. He did some awful stuff on court, and only nutards remain blind about it. I can't believe how you guys aren't sick of the stuff Nadal pulled this year.
You are a little too disgusted about unproven things. In any case, you are completely free to be offended. Fact is, his fellow players did not think it was all so disgusting.
Unproven? My eyesight is pretty good. What he pulled against Murray at the Ow, against Roddick at Miami, against Petts at Wimbledon, and more. Too many examples. Nadal is great at many things, but not at being a decent sportsman. Just no.
An egg-on-face moment for you, it seems. Lol, laugh out loud, ha ha ha.
No, not really. I couldn't care less. Roger won that award many times and I didn't care. But Nadal doesn't deserve it. Deep down inside you know that, but you're his fan so you don't acknowledge it. But I know every player on tour deserves it more than Rafa does, not that it's hard. Apparently the fans acknowledge that and they didn't give Rafa the fans' favorite award.
Wow, you are more bothered by the retirement than Murray was. That argument is useless to get into. What exactly about Roddick at Miami is messed up? You act like he mixed motherfucker in his opponent's drink to make them underperform. In either case, I really don't wanna argue. Deep down inside I am perfectly happy. I know that Rafa worked his butt off to come back from a slump and win.
The retirement was a disgrace, as was the time he took in the terabytes against Roddick. Wembley was the worst though, an absolute garbage stunt by Nadal. Yes, I will not be surprised if Nadal actually threatened players to vote for him, or something. Nothing about that guy surprises me anymore.
Classy P_agony. Well, at least Rogie fans were more dedicated in voting for him. I suppose it's the truth that we know deep inside that prevented us from casting more votes.
Actually, I didn't vote at all because I didn't even know about the voting taking place. I would probably have voted for someone who doesn't get a lot of votes for, like Selly or Gasquet or Davy, even though Rog is my favorite. Deny it all you want, but if you watched tennis this year, you know the kind of stuff Rafa pulled. As a fan you feel the need to defend him, something I completely understand. However, he's by far the worst sportsman on tour, at least from the players I know.
This is definitely a wake-up call for some of the dreamers in the Fed camp that believe that the Edberg Award actually means something. Since Fedel came on tour it's been a popularity contest and nothing more. I am a Nadal fan and I don't think he deserved it. There were some fair play Fed fans who said that others deserved it more than Rog in 2009. So wake up people, it's a popularity contest since Fedel came along and nothing more. In theory, this award should go to guys whose behavior has been impeccable throughout the year. In 2009 it went to a guy that swore at a judge in USO final and broke a racket in Miami. In 2010 it goes to a guy that got a fine for coaching in WB.do. You see the stupidity of it all? Hey, how about giving it to James Blake for a change? Or Taylor Dent?
He's been cheating more this year than all previous years combined.
Take heart. Serendipitous is probably more upset than you are.
At first I was like, but then I lulled.
Pagani, not sure why you think Nadal has such terrible sportsmanship. For example, Nadal might be the player that apologizes on court the most, aka puts his hand up. He will never fail to apologize after hitting the net cord on a shot. Moreover, I've seen him, more than once, apologize for no obvious reason after a point he won. I remember thinking, what in the world did he apologize for? And certainly off the court he is exemplary along with Federer. Both of them are such good sportsmen and such good representatives of tennis.
I guess the other players must have missed all the bogus medical timeouts Nadal had called throughout the year, especially when he was losing and especially against Petschner at Wimbledon when he was getting his butt kicked. I guess the other players also forgot about all the illegal coaching by Uncle Tony from the stands during matches and the fine that Nadal had to pay because of it. Great sportsmanship, indeed.
Finally, Rafa gets all the recognition he deserves. It was worth waiting for justice to be done. Good job to all the players for realizing at last that Rafa is the most fair play, courteous, respectful and composed player on the tour, never disrespecting umps, never breaking rackets or throwing fits, never bad-mouthing his peers, always giving the point back if he sees a mark on the line, always losing with dignity, always having a nice word/gesture for everyone and never bearing any grudges. Best example of sportsmanship around. I'm very happy for him. Couldn't find a worthier recipient for such an award. Vive la beau jeu. Cut it out before you become almost as pathetic a sore loser as Fed is.
Pusher, cheater, bully, philosopher. I love kittens and puppies.
No need to bitch about Nadal getting this award after Fed won it last year and pretty much every year, and haven't deserved it at all last year with his Miami moments and crying after a loss. Not saying a loss crying was intentional and some kind of bad behavior from Fed, but should have downplayed Fed's chances for sportsmanship award, and it obviously didn't. That said, I also want to note that Nadal's timeouts and retirements this year, time wasting with preparing his serve, weren't that good and not that worthy of an award as well. But seeing how they both get this award even when there are players with better showing of sportsmanship, I realize this award doesn't hold too much weight and shouldn't be too bothered with it.
He has a lot more apologizing to do, and it still won't help. To me, Nadal is almost a criminal. No Mandy, just no.
Bull fucking sheet Pagani.
What BS? Fed doesn't take time, he doesn't retire matches, doesn't call fake mtos, doesn't vamos in opponent face after he made an error. Of course they didn't call out Fed for his BS, because he had none, at least on court. Off court he had plenty of BS going on. Now that Nadal got the Sportsmanship award, Fed needs to get the Best Act when losing award, Verdasco needs to get the Iron Mind award, Djokovic needs to get the Best Aces Hitter at the Big Points award, Stepanek needs to get the Best Looking Male Player award, Nalbandian needs to get the Consistency award, Gasquet needs to get the Best Forehand award, Blake needs to get the Best Newcomer award, Davydenko needs to get the Best Skills at the Net award, Murray needs to get the Best Aggressive Game award.
Federer's balls are stuck in your throat. Try spitting them out and you'll see that Nadal is not that bad. You sound like your husband got robbed or something.